never really celebrated Easter growing up. My dad would put a couple of stale chocolate bunnies, maybe hang one of those crepe paper egg steamers over the kitchen window. That was about it. No church, no family brunch, just him, quiet and strange, always working in the garage or staring out the window with a beer in hand. He died last year, colon cancer, fast and aggressive. By the time we caught it, he was already slipping. When I went through his things, the house felt smaller than I remembered. Shrinking walls, sagging ceilings, faded wallpaper curling like old skin. That's when I found the costume. It was in this big trunk at the back of the attic, mothballs and dust. Heavy wool, the kind of Easter bunny suit you'd find in a department store in the 80s. Oversized head, painted on smile, eyes like blank marbles. It smelled like cedar, sweat, and something faintly metallic, like rust or blood. I pulled it out and laughed. God, it was awful. Off-white fur, too long in the legs, one of the ears barely attached. But my daughter June was 4 now, and for the first time, she was asking about the Easter bunny. She'd seen it in cartoons, asked if he brought presents like Santa, and after everything she's been through, her mum and I splitting, the move, the new town, I thought, maybe, a little magic wouldn't hurt. So I took the suit home. I didn't tell her. I wanted it to be a surprise. I put it on the night before Easter Sunday. Standing in the hallway mirror, I pulled the suit over my legs, arm, chest. It fit perfectly. Despite how it looked, how old it was, it clung to my body like it had been tailored. The inside was soft, warm, almost too warm. The head went on last. I expected it to be heavy, but it was light, like it had been hollowed out. And when I looked in the mirror, I laughed. But the sound that came out wasn't quite mine. I walked into the living room to test it out. June was asleep upstairs. I crouched by the Easter basket, adjusted the head, and placed the chocolate egg on the coffee table. That's when I noticed it. The hands. The gloves weren't gloves. They were fur, seamless, no stitching, no zipper. I pulled at them. Nothing. I tried to peel back the sleeve, felt a sharp pain in my wrist. Then I saw blood soaking into the fur. I ran to the bathroom, tried to take off the head. It wouldn't budge. It was like it had fused to my skin. I screamed, but the sound was muffled, like it was coming from deep inside the suit. I sat on the edge of the tub, hyperventilating, clawing at the seams. That's when I heard it. A voice. Faint. Not in my ears. Inside my head. You put me on. Now I wear you. I blacked out. I woke up on the living room floor, still in the suit. June was standing over me, smiling. Bunny, she said, you stayed. I tried to speak, but the head wouldn't move. June laughed and hugged me. Her warmth cut through the fabric like sunlight, but for a second, I felt okay. Then I saw the trail of fur across the floor, tufts, leading back to the attic. That night, after June went to bed, I broke the attic lock. Inside the trunk was a journal, my dad's. He'd worn the suit too, every Easter, until 1993. The last entry was dated April 11th of that year. It won't come off. It's not a costume, it's a skin. It tells me things now, about the town, about the children. I think it's older than I am, older than all of us. But when I wear it, she loves me. She sees the bunny, not the man. Maybe that's better. Over the next few days, I stopped trying to remove it. I couldn't. The fur had grown tighter, my voice deeper, my teeth longer. The skin beneath the mask itched, then cracked, then healed. When I bled, the blood was pink. When I cried, the tears smelled like sugar. But June smiled more. She hugged me longer. "You're better than Santa," she said. "You never leave." One night, I heard knocking at the front door. When I opened it, there were others. Men, women, all wearing bunny suits, all different. Homemade, tattered, but the same eyes, same blank smile. They didn't speak, they just nodded. One held a sign, "Spring returns." Another held a child's shoe. They bowed, turned, and disappeared into the dark. I'm writing this with fingers I have left. The fair is almost complete. The voice speaks louder now. It says Easter's coming. It says there are more children who need magic. It says I'm going to help. I think it's right, because when June hugs me now, I don't feel tired anymore. I feel real. I feel wanted. I feel like the bunny. My family had attended Pine Hollow Community Chapel every Easter since we moved here. It's a small town church, white steeple, gravel lot, coffee in styrofoam cups, and everyone knows everyone. So when Pastor Elias said he was reviving an old Easter tradition, none of us thought twice. The Egg Hunter Renewal, he called it. A sacred children's event, one that hadn't been held in decades. He made it sound like some wholesome secret from the town's past. Said it was limited to children between 6 and 10, invitation only. Spiritual development through playful discovery. My son Max was selected. He was 7. I was proud. But now I live with the door to his room bolted shut and a photo on the fridge of a child I no longer recognise. It came in the mail, cream-coloured envelope, wax seal shaped like a lamb. Inside, an invitation printed on parchment. "Congratulations, Max. You have been chosen to participate in the 2024 Egg Hunter Renewal. You are a bright one." There was no return address, just the time, 6:30 AM, Easter Sunday. No phones, no cameras. Parents were not allowed to attend. I asked the pastor about it. He smiled and said, "It's better that way. The children see more when we're not looking." We'd never been in the basement before. I assumed it was just storage, old chairs, water heater, some dusty hymnals. That morning, I walked Max to the chapel steps and met the other parents. Nervous smiles, paper cups of coffee. We all handed our children off to a woman I didn't recognise. Tall, bone thin, dressed in grey linen with an Easter lily pinned to her chest. She never blinked. The kids disappeared through the chapel doors. None of us spoke much after that. We waited and waited. Time crawled. At exactly 7:33 AM, the chapel doors opened and the children returned. They all looked the same at first, happy, smiling, each holding a painted wooden egg. Some were cracked, some glowing faintly. Max held a green one with gold inlay. He didn't run to me, didn't speak, just stared, his smile frozen, too wide. His pupils were pinpricks. He let me hug him, but he didn't hug me back. That night, I heard him whispering to someone in his room, "You stay under the floor, I'll feed you later." I went in. He was asleep, or pretending to be. The wooden egg was on his nightstand. It was vibrating, very gently. I cornered Pastor Elias the next day, asked what really happened in the basement. He didn't deny it was strange, but his words chilled me. The egg hunt isn't about candy, it's about shredding, about rebirth. Some things glow in darkness before they bloom in the light. You should be proud. Max has accepted his role, and now he'll never be alone again. 2 nights later, I woke up to the sound of chewing, coming from the vent below Max's room. Rhythmic, wet. I opened the grate and shone a flashlight inside. There was a face. Small, pale. My son's. Staring back. But he was also in bed. I slammed the grate shut and took him to sleep in my room. But when I woke up, he was back in his bed, smiling. I called another parent, Marie. Her daughter had been in the hunt. Marie's voice cracked when I asked how things were. Anna's eggs hatched. There's something inside. It tells her stories. It doesn't like the light. She hung up. I haven't seen them since. I tried to go down myself. Pastor Elias was out, so I snuck in. The basement door wasn't where it had been. It was just gone. Drywall, seamless, no hinges, no knob. I pressed my ear to it and I heard scratching and whispering. A dozen voices, all in Max's voice. The next day, the egg cracked. I found it cracked open on Easter Friday. The inside wasn't hollow, it was soft, pink, fleshy, and something moved inside. Max stared at it and said, "Don't worry, Dad, it's just hungry. It's going to be me when I'm gone. It likes your smell." I locked his door, bolted it shut. He didn't scream, didn't cry, just whispered through the keyhole, "You're the one who brought me. You brought me to the egg. Now it needs you too." I slept with the lights on. In the morning, the door was open, the lock unbroken, and Max gone. Just the shell of the egg split in two, and footprints, wet and not quite human, leading down the hallway. The police think I'm delusional, said I must have lost him during a psychotic break, but I've seen the scratch marks under the floor, I've heard the voice in the vents, and last night a new envelope arrived. Same seal, same parchment. "Congratulations, your daughter has been chosen for next year's egg hunt. She is a bright one." There were 5 of us, me, Hannah, Marcus, Layla and Josh. We were supposed to spend Easter weekend hiking Zion. But when a freak storm shut down the main roads and dumped snow across the western routes, we took the scenic way east through farm towns and forgotten places. We should have turned around, we should have kept driving. Instead, we saw a hand-painted sign on the road. Spring Rebirth Festival, welcome to Hollow Marsh. And beneath that, in faded yellow, the marsh accepts what it needs. We thought it was some weird local motto. Now I understand it was a warning. Hollow Marsh looked like something from a postcard in the 1950s. Lace curtain windows, pastel cottages, a central green where children in white linen played beneath willow trees. Everyone smiled, everyone waved. We asked where we could get food, and a man with weathered skin and 2 bright eyes pointed to a church at the centre of town. "Come join us, we're setting the table now, rebirth begins tonight." We laughed. Marcus called it cult core. Josh made jokes about wicker men, but we followed them. Because they were friendly, because it felt safe, because they were expecting us. The church was more of a barn, open beams, flowers hanging from the rafters, wooden tables set with silverware that looked too polished. A long feast, roasted lamb, spring greens, honey bread, eggs, always eggs, carved into patterns, painted in blood red ink. Layla noticed it first. The meat was cold, like it had been cooked days ago. But the people, they were eating with closed mouths. Their hands moved, their faces smiled, but their jaws never parted. It was like watching mannequins perform a meal from memory. At sundown, the children gathered around. They held candles and began to sing. A melody none of us knew. The lyrics were soft, beautiful, but wrong. One for the water, one for the skin, one to be taken and one to let in. Their voice layered, rising, echoing through the trees, and that's when the townspeople stood, walked, in perfect unison, to the edge of the clearing, formed a ring around us, and one of them said, "The Marsh has chosen." They led us down a path between the town, into the reeds and rot of the marshland. The smell hit first, sour, wet, sweet, like flowers blooming over corpses. At the centre of the bog was a hole. Black water, still, breathing. I swear to God it was breathing. One by one they made us kneel and handed each of us a painted egg. Inside mine was a tooth. Marcus opened his. His egg was still moving. They began the ritual. They called it the rebirth. Not a sacrifice, a trade. They said the marsh needs new skin each year, new memories, new shapes to grow, and in return it offers blessings, longevity, rainfall, fruit that never rots. They said would feel it enter. Only one of us would be kept whole, the rest would be rooted. Josh ran. He made it 10 feet before the marsh caught him. Not mud, arms, pale, wrist thin. They pulled him under without a sound. The water never rippled. Marcus screamed and threw his egg into the bog. The water hissed, and the townspeople all bled from their noses. Then they smiled wider. They looked at Layla. They said she was ripe, said the marsh could wear her well. She begged. We all did. But they pushed her forward, and she walked, glass-eyed, like something had already taken her. She stepped into the water and didn't sink. She floated, skin flattening, stretching, becoming part of it. The marsh sighed, and Layla whispered, "It remembers." Only I remained, the last. They said I would carry the memory, the one who left, so others might come. They branded the egg symbol into my arm, told me if I spoke, it would come for me, but if I stayed silent, it would wait. I came back alone. The police found nothing. No town, no church, just trees and wetland. But last night, a package arrived. A single painted egg, still warm, and the note, "Rebirth returns next year. Ring 4. The marsh accepts what it needs."